Are you a company that can benefit from having something hyper local? Like we're talking working with one house, two houses, three different houses on the block. Well, that's what today's question is about, and that is hyper local marketing. We call this neighborhood marketing strategy, and it's something you can actually find more about at 323.media/neighborhood. And yes, it's spelt with and without the U. As a Canadian marketing agency, we know that a lot of our clients that are in the US don't have the same spellings as we do, but also all of our clients north of the border spell things differently. So here we are. Let's get into it. Today's question is about marketing a landscaping business. And we've had a lot of fun working with landscaping businesses and other home services and realtors with this same strategy. So I've mentioned in a previous episode that we were actually going to dive into this a little bit more. And today's the day. We're going to break down how to get into one or two or three or more of the neighbors that are there. And it works with using a couple of different things. First, it uses an omni-channel approach, which is designed to sound really big and cool, but in reality, it's just a practical way of getting in touch with everyone. The second is it uses the transformation that you've created with your process and your service. And the third is that it uses relevance, which means everybody who sees it automatically recognizes it and understands who you are, why you're doing it, and who your client was. Let's get into it. My name is Chris Milton. I run 323 Media, Tactics and Marketing, Content Machine, and Super Social Media. We've created specific products and services that are designed for people with specific needs. And in today's video, we're going to talk about neighborhood marketing for local businesses. This is a really competitive space. And so if this is a type of business that you have, I wouldn't be surprised if you've been approached by many different marketing agencies and freelancers who are focused on local SEO. The reason for that is there's a big opportunity for you to win a lot of business. The challenge is a lot of that business isn't connected to your business goals. So the example that we're going to use today is kind of two, actually. They're both focused on home services, and they're both focused on services that make more sense by being closer than farther away. And the reason for that is being paid for your time, but also having to have employees on the clock and having your equipment moving from place to place. So let's talk about a landscaping company. And this could be somebody who does landscape architecture or even regular maintenance, just, weekly mowing the lawn and trimming the bushes when it is the right time of year. And then on the other side, talking about a real estate agent who's looking for different listings. So the first thing that you want to be able to do is really understand where you would like to work. In both cases here, we're probably looking into an area that is a neighborhood that has middle or higher income as well as larger properties. And the reason for that is that for both, they're going to show better in your marketing with photography and video, but it also means that you're probably not going to be fighting on price as much. And so that's going to be a little bit better and working in your favor. So if we're thinking about that neighborhood, the first thing that we want to be able to do is target that and literally draw it out on a map. The reason that we're going to be drawing it out on the map is because in the States, USPS, and in Canada, Canada Post have excellent maps that actually break down the postal codes and zip codes with the different specific income, type of properties, number of properties, and other demographic information within geographic areas. This is where we're going to start. So we're going to break down and start looking at one particular zip code or one particular postal code, and then start looking at how much of that is a fit for who we want to target. For anybody who's ever felt overwhelmed by trying to figure out what to put into Google or what to put into Facebook when you're building your ad campaign, this is actually all of your answers. So by you understanding that being in that specific neighborhood is the right thing to do, you can actually take all of that information that you've gotten from the postal carrier and use that as information to target that specifically within your area. You can also use that same postal information to be able to create your campaign that really works. So I've already kind of teased two specific tactics that are there, but before we get into the promotional and first impression and targeting approach, we actually have to take a step back. The step back that we want to take is you're identifying your customer, your best particular prospect that could be in that area, and you want to be able to have a great first impression. So your website does not have to be something that is incredibly sophisticated, but what it does need to be able to do is give a great first impression and capture leads really well. So what I would recommend for this is if you have a website that's already built and you're not looking to specifically redesign it, then use a landing page software. And there's a couple that I'll link below that are examples that we've used in the past. It's not something that's designed to be incredibly difficult or expensive to be able to add on. They're just really well optimized to load fast, have information that is specific, have the ability to track certain campaigns because you're giving a certain dedicated landing page URL to track how well everything is performing. And they're really good at capturing leads and pushing it into all different CRMs. Now, that may sound really complicated, but the bottom line is it does exactly what I said. It's easy to use, it's great, it's optimized, and it's easy to capture leads. So let's make sure that number one, you have your landing page set up. The landing page should be matching what you're saying within your ads, meaning it's who you're targeting. So let's take a look at that neighborhood again. So if it could be your landscaping saying, do you have a yard that is hard to maintain because you're busy and you have a family who's got a lot of activities and young kids who want to enjoy the yard, but it's just a lot of work for you to do? We can take care of all of that for you for less than $500 a month. I don't know what your pricing is, but I'm just throwing that number out there. The idea with that one simple sentence is A, you're relating to the person. You're able to connect with one of their pain points because you know that with the demographic information you found, most people are married, most people have kids. Having kids means a busier lifestyle, and being in that area and knowing the rough income that they have, you know that price point is something that is well below what their disposable income is. So it checks off a lot of different boxes. It allows you to be more relatable with who you're speaking to. The second thing you want to be able to do is have your appointment booking tool. And this is as simple as using Calendly to be able to set up something for free of when you want to have a phone call to discuss rates, or have an appointment booked for somebody to come and actually give a specific quote, or for your services to start. And this is the second step. So the first step is set up your landing page. It just says, hey, I get who you are. I have a service that's going to help you, and it's probably more affordable than you think. The second step is tell us more about yourself. And in that contact form, it's going to capture their name, their email address, their phone number, probably their address to be able to see what kind of rates are available for them. If you wonder how bigger, larger companies do this, try building a car on one of the major manufacturers' sites, because they are the best at saying, what's your postal code? Then they ask you again, what's your province? Then they ask you again, what's your city? And the reason isn't for them to figure out where exactly you are, but it's actually to figure out how to work with the dealership that's closest to you. But the reason that they're doing that is they're qualifying you multiple times to make sure that you're telling the information that's correct. And in this case, you want to be doing the exact same thing. You want to be able to make sure that for your own purposes, you're getting the right information that's out there. You're getting the right type of customers. You're qualifying that who you're targeting is potentially the right customer for you and the right prospect for you. So that's kind of the first wave of what we've done. We've figured out who we want to talk to. We figured out why they would be a good customer. We've got them at the bottom of the funnel converting and giving information, and you're saying, yes, this is great. Now, here's where that efficiency starts coming in. Within that appointment calendar booking tool, you can have that plugged into your own services, your salesperson services, whatever it is. And you set it up to be able to say, book a 30-minute appointment. And then it says, how much buffer time do you want between now and the appointment that you can book? And secondly, how much time do you want in between appointments? This is the first step of understanding that your business efficiency is specifically tied to your marketing. And the reason for that is if you're doing a half-hour appointment and then you know that there's going to be 5 minutes of paperwork to wrap up that appointment, how much longer would you like it to be before that person can take another appointment? Now, keep in mind, these are in person, so there's travel time involved. It's not just clicking off of the Zoom and clicking on to another one. That next appointment, if it can be less than 15 minutes away, you can let that schedule be booked for half an hour between each appointment, and you can fill up that person's day without having any issues of their time being rushed, them taking shortcuts or speeding or things that could get them in trouble trying to get from one appointment to the other, and they'll still always be on time. It gives them a little bit of buffer if the client's running late and you might go a little bit over time. But think about that. If you were able to have 5 minutes of wrap up time to send off a quote, send off something for approval, and then there's less than 10 minutes driving time to the next appointment, you're always going to be on time. You're going to look more professional, but that also means there's more appointments you can squeeze into one day. Even if you could just get 1 or 2 more appointments squeezed in every day, what would that look like for your business to be able to have 1 or 2 more prospects per working day? What would that do to your business? There's a huge metric and a big improvement. And within an 8-hour workday, just within that math, if we were talking about a half hour of in between appointment time and a half hour of appointment time, we're looking at 8 appointments a day. That's great. That gives us an awesome opportunity on the marketing side to say 8 appointments per day, 5 working days per week. Could we get 40 new prospects per week? Or multiply that by 4 weeks, 160 new appointments per month. That's a great way to look at it. However, if you were looking at going from one suburb into the city, out to another suburb, you may only be able to get 3 appointments per day. So we're looking at efficiency here, and we're really trying to create that great neighborhood bubble of how quickly you can create things and make them scale. So I hope I'm not moving too fast and you can keep up with where I'm at so far. And I'm doing the same thing here and understanding that I get your business and I understand how much this actually would make sense to you. Now comes the advertising part. Every single time you have a client, you want to be able to have your first thing you do before you do any work is to take photos of what you're doing. This gives you the before. Then you get to do your work, get to work, whether you are doing the lawn mowing that day, trimming the hedges, painting the house, redoing the roof, whatever it is. And then looking through the photos, and this can just be on a smartphone, that's totally fine, of being able to take all of the after photos as well. Now you have not only a customer testimonial that you could ask your client and say, how well did you like this? How much did you enjoy working with us and seeing this transformation? But you can visually show it. So your first ads that you're going to run are going to be targeted to the area and uses pictures of your team and your service. This is your ad campaign number 1. And you just want to be targeting in that small area. And it is going to give you so many bells and whistles and lights going off when you're trying to start this campaign, because Facebook's thinking about it as, do you really want to market only to this small group of people? And Google's saying, but you can expand your reach. You can expand your reach. No, you want it to be this specific, because keep in mind about that efficiency time of how long it takes to go from one appointment to the next, because that's also going to matter every time you come to service this client. Once you've got that ad set running, free consultations, free quotes, neighborhood approved, whatever you want to say that is a great hook and call to action. And you can look through our playlist to find examples of call to action that work. But the idea is that you're focused on getting that person for free to start with that appointment. That appointment process of scaling up to those 40 per week is a huge opportunity, but you can do it relatively quickly if you're targeting it the correct way and you've done a great job of matching up the right information and call to action for the people that you're trying to target. So as we're running through this, you can start to see now that your funnel is going to fill up with new information and new prospects that are coming in. The second step to this is being able to get a flyer put together really quickly with a graphic designer of what you do and how you do it. When your guys are in the neighborhood, get them to drop off 5 or 10 after every appointment that are nearby with the neighbors. What this will have over time is an evolution of those flyers having the same text on them, but the photos being replaced with the sites that you're finished doing or the ones that you're finished working on, because I'll bet the neighbors have noticed how much nicer that home looks that they drive past every day. Who's doing that? What are they doing? How did they do it? And that's where you can start building this instant testimonial, where it's not your clients giving a testimonial, it's actually the house speaking for itself. So this is tactic number 2, that you actually do those physical drop-offs and be able to say, here's a flyer. Have it as a door hanger, leave it on the front door, drop it in the mailbox. It's not something where you're necessarily door knocking. It's just dropping off a flyer because they'll recognize the pictures that are in there being their neighbors' houses. They also know that this means they're probably getting a deal, or they're getting something that they know that they want because they've already seen their customer service satisfaction of the neighbor's house and how much better it looks. They get it. That's selling it yourself. Instead of looking at the next neighborhood or the next suburb that could be a long way away who has no idea who this house is, you're putting those before and after photos into the flyer that is then selling the neighbors relatively quickly. So let's continue with this example. You know that transformation process is probably going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 different service calls. That's fine. You're in this for the long run. You're trying to understand how you can be the local go-to expert in your field, and that's exactly what you want to be able to do. Take that and be able to run with it. So those flyers, don't print any more than 200 of them at a time, because they're only going to go to such a small group of people that you don't want to be stuck with too many and you're just wasting cost where they're going to end up in the recycling bin. The great part of this is on that flyer, you can also have that same booking link that you've been using on your digital ads. Get that same salesperson filled up, get their calendar full, get them walking almost between appointments because they're so close to each other. Once you have that in place, you now have Facebook and Google ads that are running, that are going to your landing page. You've got a mail drop that is happening that can also go to the landing page. All of that is going into the booking engine for your consultant or your salesperson to have those first calls. And your scheduling tool to get your team out there to start work can happen almost immediately. What's your availability like? How quickly could you get them started? And the idea with this is you want to max out how much one team can handle if you have a recurring business, or if you're having a particular service like being a realtor, how many homes would you like to service along the block that are similar? The follow-up to anything that you do can also be duplicated through retargeting ads, and you can update with your second ad set. So once you have that one case study that shows how good work you do, whether that's making the front lawn look amazing or replanting some of the hedges that weren't really doing very great, or selling the home or inviting people to an open house, you can show that process of what you've done. Being able to show that you've sold the house, you can add stats in. Being able to show that you've made the front yard improve the curb appeal like 10 times, that's amazing. Or make the backyard 3 times more functional, that's amazing too. All of these different things are designed to be able to let your work land your next client. And when it comes to this neighborhood approach, we've seen some of the companies that have teams running on one truck or one set of equipment use this to maximize that specific truck, where then that area needs to then be split into 2 teams. Or they're looking at the next area and the next area and the next area. And it wasn't our client, but I do know of the most successful company that I've seen do this was a landscaping company that worked primarily on office buildings and condo buildings and apartment buildings, that went from 1 truck all the way to 37 trucks taking this approach. Now, they did it over 20 years ago when the advertising was not as sophisticated, but now this is something where I think we can scale up faster than they did. Theirs had a whole lot more door knocking involved and a whole lot more efficiency on the production side, which is fascinating to me, to the point that they have a full-time mechanic just working on all of their own trucks and their own equipment. But it is a strategy that works. Your neighborhood can be the difference in how you run your business, both scaling for leads, being efficient with seeing new clients and prospects, and improving your profit margins because you're able to see and do more work within the same area with much less travel time from one to the next when it comes to how you're getting paid. Now, the back end of all of this is a whole lot more fun. We've got systems in place for billing, recurring billing, appointment booking, invoicing, and just the end to end, plus even adding the content marketing of the how to and keeping the people that aren't interested immediately in a warm funnel with a newsletter and blog posts. It is a fun business to be owning for yourself and for us to be marketing. So I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope this little kind of boot camp on how to grow your neighborhood business is something that makes a lot of sense to you. It is definitely a popular Main Street business that I think anybody who is servicing homes should be looking at, regardless of your service. And if you're interested in learning more, get in touch with us. Get in touch with me. Check out that website, 323.media/neighborhood. That is our agency itself. And that is the landing page for a little bit more on how this neighborhood marketing works. And we are open to working with clients on this within most metropolitan areas, but that'll be something we discuss on a consultation call. So if you're interested in that, that is great. Otherwise, tell me how it's going for you. I'm really curious on learning what's working best in different areas. And I hope you do the best in your business. Have a great week, a great month, a great quarter, and a great year. And keep at it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. And if there's more marketing tactics you want to learn about, go to tacticsofmarketing.com. Thanks.